It has been a while, but y'all are used to my infrequent posting. If you're new here, my name is Istle, and this is like my cute little audiovisual journal. I just finished my last final of my third semester here at Princeton University. Life is good. So much happened this semester and this year that I wanted to take some time to reflect and realize how much I learned and grew, but also all of the things that I'm still learning. And as I reflect, I'm gonna be cutting my hair. I think I haven't cut my hair in like a year or something, which is wild, but I'm definitely in need of a trim. And low-key, I might cut a little more than a trim. I just need to shed all of what is weighing on me and hopefully enter the new year with a bit more clarity of mind. So my year started off in Australia. As y'all maybe saw in my Australia vlog, I was in Sydney ringing in the new year, and everyone is asking, everyone being like 3 people, one being my mom, where in the world will I be for New Year's this year? And honestly, I do think I'm the main one asking that question because maybe I just need to be cozy watching a movie with family. But yes, back to Australia. I literally still cannot believe I just decided one day I would travel to Australia on my own, knowing no one there and nothing about the place. Of course, I am so grateful to be able to do something like that and proud that I trusted myself enough. I think this trip was more so about seeing if I can survive on my own, and hey, here I am. Did I almost pass out from dehydration and also hit my head on a rock on New Year's Eve? Maybe, but what matters is that I did it. I feel like during this trip is when I really began to understand the world truly is my oyster. Like, I can do whatever I want. The simple luxuries of treating myself to a spa or getting a 9-course vegan meal were like so essential to my conceptualizing of self-love, which I have declared as this year's theme. Well, more so a year of learning what love means to me, in many ways, but definitely centering self-love. After Australia, I returned home and loved to be with my family again, but then I was quickly whisked away back to Princeton. Spring semester was challenging primarily because, as we all know, students around the world chose to make a stand against genocide. Life at the encampment here was actually so beautiful, and I really do miss it. Being able to be with friends, meet new people, connect with the community, continue educating myself, and standing up for human rights are all aspects of why that time was amazing. In so much despair and grieving and pain, to have moments of joy and love like that were so important. But of course, these universities and governments do not support students' right to free speech and protest, and very clearly support genocide, and also go out of their way to lie and villainize their students. So for that, I am glad that semester has concluded. Once the summer began, I was home for like a week maybe, and then I went to Mexico with my abuelita. This was my first time going without my parents, so it was like a really big deal for me. My time there was unfortunately not my fave. I love being with my abuelita and all my other family members in Mexico. However, I think I really craved the freedom and sense of adventure I felt when I was in Australia. I did see some cool things, and I should have a whole other video if you want to check that out. Maybe it will come out after this one. But I also got to meet new family members, which was really nice. I think in terms of a lesson I learned about love, it's that self-love is a journey and everything is cyclical. I felt so small and insecure when I was in Mexico, and I just hope that in the future, I feel like I have more confidence and ability to stand up for myself. From Mexico, I flew to India, and I loved it there. Y'all maybe don't know about this yet, but you know, I should have another video about that trip coming soon if you want to check that out. I went to India as a summer course through my university and got to make so many new friends. It's so strange how, while we all go to Princeton, we primarily formed our friendships in India. India was the biggest culture shock I have ever experienced. Like, yes, there are some similarities, but for the most part, everything was so different. Like, okay, yeah, obviously, but to experience it is like a whole other thing rather than just talking about culture shock. I think this is where I came to understand a bit more what love for others is. Being in a foreign country with people you don't necessarily know will test you and how you display your kindness. Something I will always remember about that trip is when we were sitting around a campfire in Nagrajole and we all just shared so much love with one another and also how we perceive each other, it was interesting. Platonic love is something that I will always cherish, like my friends truly mean the world to me. Even though I don't get to see everyone I was in India with all the time, they will always hold a special place in my heart. Returning home from India did feel like escaping imprisonment. I'm so sorry. Okay, look. When you're in a place that tests your discomfort to new extremes, and you have both dengue and food poisoning, your only thoughts will be how you can go back home. India, I loved you, but it was hard being away from home for 2.5 months, 1 month being in Mexico and another month and a half being in India. My family is so sweet and indulged in my silly desires for US American foods like hot dogs and hamburgers and mac and cheese. I think this was the first time I ever missed the 4th of July, and I literally never celebrated it, so I don't know why I had such a strong emotional attachment to it all of a sudden, but I don't know. And then we took a family trip to Northern California. I've only ever been to SoCal really, so this was a nice trip. It was fun and the nature was stunning. I'm really close with my family, I love them so much, but they do test my patience. TBH, everyone was far better behaved than they normally are, but there were definitely still reminders that they too are in their own cyclical journeys of growth. Then, back to Princeton. My second year and third semester. My mind was truly destabilized this semester. I suppose that's a polite way of saying it. Look, some other life circumstances happened right before the semester began that really threw me off and just put me in a bad place emotionally. I was definitely engaging with different people this semester, some of which I'm so grateful for because now we're a lot closer as friends and they bring so much warmth and introspection into my life. However, some brought chaos and a bit too much for me. I think that being in this space can be so challenging, especially as a first-gen low-income student, because you feel like you have a chance to obtain something you're told is desirable your whole life. Or maybe also you think that certain things or being around certain people would further guarantee financial stability for you and your family. Also a matter of, hey, maybe I didn't have a strong sense of self-love, leading for me to seek validation from people who don't even know my name. A lot of my closest friendships are maybe on a bit of a hiatus currently, and I can't just deny my own fault in this, but I do remain open to rekindling friendships. While life is a cycle, this semester felt like a whirlpool. I really struggled mentally, emotionally, socially, and spiritually. I think that when you're in a vulnerable position, it's so easy to reach for instant comfort, but this may turn to hurt you more in the end. During the semester, I also took a trip, and I'm not gonna reveal too much, but I was in the ocean, and y'all will love that video once I get around to editing it. This trip, I really saw myself be a lot more free-spirited than I ever felt I've been able to do. It helped me realize how restricted I feel at Princeton, how much I diminish myself. It was just nice to laugh freely without worrying about a million things. I also returned home for a bit during the supposed Thanksgiving break. This was the one that really got me and solidified this year's theme. As I returned home, I really noticed for the first time how much love is shared between me and my family and how they really know me. I was actually supposed to leave home a bit earlier and go on a trip with friends, but this didn't work out and this really hurt my heart. I don't blame anyone at all, but I think it's important to still recognize emotional pain when it happens rather than just saying everything is fine. I'm so grateful this happened though because I was able to stay with my family longer. I felt really emotionally vulnerable but still went out and shared time with my abuelita. I love her so much, and while we have had our moments of frustration, my abuelita has truly been one of my best friends for my whole life. We went out shopping together and I took her out to dinner at a nice little diner. I opened up to her about how I was feeling and she did the same, and being able to be vulnerable really provided this intimate moment of realization. I've been fighting for the love of my friends this whole semester, trying to feel lovable, and I saw that same pain in my abuelita. I would always be a bit frustrated growing up when she would say things insinuating I didn't care enough about her when I would choose to spend time with friends or at home rather than being with her, but I understand now. She, like I, just wants to feel seen, feel loved. I haven't unpacked my own upbringing and strained relationship with love, and she hasn't either, but I'm certain there is something that made us feel undeserving of love that now prompts us to be anxious lovers, even in platonic or familial relationships. As we close off 2024, I really do realize how much I have learned and will surely continue to learn. How might I cultivate love in my relationships going forward? How might I overcome this need to feel validated or worth receiving love from others? I know I am full of love and surrounded by it too, and I do not need to change who I am to be worthy of love. But how do I really feel this? I'm still honestly confused on what some of my friendships even are or what they might look like for me going forward, but maybe that's okay. Any relationship is not just going to be innately easy or simple because humans are complicated, emotions are complex. But really, it's about genuine care for one another, patience, communication, and understanding. This world is full of love because of you, so even as everything feels like it's closing in, remember the light you carry in your heart. And yes, I am the cheesiest person on the planet, but so what? I think that's what I love most about myself right now. Thank you so much for watching along and joining me in this conversation of love and reflection on this year. Please comment, let me know if any of this resonated with you, and feel free to subscribe to keep up and see how things go with my own journey. And as always, I must conclude by saying, I believe in you. I'm proud of you. And I'm so happy you're here. Love, Eastley.